It is always greatly entertaining when somebody fully intent on disproving a rule or busting a myth trips and falls and demonstrates conclusively the rule is not in fact a myth. See, reality is a notorious bully, so when you deny it, reality has a habit, if not a vendetta, of punching you in the face, or in this story, of putting a gun in your face on completely justified and deserved terms. In that theme, South Fulton, Georgia is something of an experimental city with an experimental mayor. These southwest Atlanta suburbs were just incorporated into a city in 2017, and the city is only under its second mayor, Kamau, a Black Lives Matter activist whose platform includes making what he advertises as America's blackest city even blacker. On his city bio page and in a recent Politico profile, Kamau describes himself as the first Black Lives Matter organizer elected to public office. He's a gay socialist, and I suppose there's some ideological consistency there, since, as we'll see, he does indeed believe that what's yours is his. He's on a quest to make the 92% black South Fulton a real-life Wakanda. He wants the city unapologetically black, except in this case, when he is in fact apologizing. He wants the city black on purpose, that's his catchphrase, except in this case where his defense is it was all a big accident, actually, and somehow that pesky systemic racism still persists even in this overwhelmingly black Wakanda under construction. Over the weekend, Kamau was arrested on a felony burglary charge as well as trespassing after he entered a lakefront home early Saturday morning. And this home is apparently not permanently occupied. The owner says he uses it primarily for storage. Storage of what exactly hasn't yet been reported, but maybe that's why Kamau was so curious, or maybe he had some inside knowledge. But Kamau entered the home, causing an alert on the home security system. That alert awoke the homeowner, who lives on another property nearby. The homeowner then drove over and confronted Kamau, according to the police report, holding him at gunpoint while calling the police, telling Kamau to stay put. After Kamau tried to leave, the homeowner says Kamau yelled at him, quote, "Do you know who the fuck I am?" Well, no, I don't, I'm sure the homeowner thought, just like the rest of us. I've never heard of you before until you started stealing stuff, actually. To that point, Kamau won't be remembered as the mayor of South Fulton, Georgia, the recognition he expects. He'll only be remembered as the Black Lives Matter mayor who got busted for burglary, which is exactly why Khalid had to clarify in this situation, quote, "I'm the mayor," he said to the homeowner, "and I'll wait for my police to get here and we'll see what happens then." A very unfortunate statement, both in its inaccurate prediction and in its philosophy, because what happened when his police got there is Kamau was arrested on those burglary and trespassing charges. But the bigger problem for the rest of us is in that phrasing, his police, and all the implications that carries. Because the claim that the police are his police and not the people's police is, one, legally, morally, and factually wrong, and two, counter to everything this guy and his supporters publicly say about being a man of the people and not a petty tyrant over the people.
Meanwhile, supporters of the mayor like Rashard Snellings were outside the jail when he was released.
Mayor Khalid, I would say he's a passionate mayor. He uses this tagline a lot that people know him by as the people's mayor. He genuinely cares for the people.
Well, his actions here suggest he cares just a little bit more about his own entitlement, actually, up to and including stealing your stuff and sicking his goons on you if you try to intervene, or at least falsely threatening to. But it's all just a big misunderstanding, actually. See, this was not the mayor caught in some sort of intentional criminal act. He's actually shopping for a new home and mistakenly believed that this was some sort of open house showing at 7 in the morning with nobody around or something like that. Here's the mayor's uncharacteristically apologetic explanation at the jailhouse later on Saturday.
Mayor, why were you on that property?
I just wanted to see the house. I do apologize to the owners. I thought it was abandoned.
And yes, despite the escort from an all-black police force and questions from a black reporter, somehow this incident still demonstrates racial inequities at work.
What do you say to your constituents?
I apologize for the negative attention this has brought to our city, but I hope that the spotlight that is on our city right now will highlight some of the inequities that have been happening.
So you're guilty of the charges?
I think that's for the voters to decide.
Yeah, it's also for a jury to decide, assuming he doesn't get some sort of systemically inequitable benefit from a sympathetic prosecutor who's too distracted with all her Trump work in the meantime. But to be specific about this story, here's Kamau's version of it. He says he was just out on a morning walk and he happened to see his dream home that he hopes to purchase one day. And so he helped himself to a spontaneous showing, believing the property was abandoned. You may be rightly listing several problems with this explanation of events. Let's consider a few. Kamau believed this property to be abandoned despite several visibly posted no trespassing signs and despite the property that Kamau must have encountered once inside the home. Why didn't he leave once he discovered it was not in fact abandoned? And Kamau didn't just believe a home was abandoned, he believed his dream home was abandoned. The home in which he aspires to one day live is some rundown shack in disrepair. It is a great lakefront location, I guess, so maybe he aspires to several DIY projects, but still, it is awfully odd to aspire to this home when, at least according to this news reporting, it appears he lives in a much larger, much more well-kept home currently.
Today, 11 Alive attempted to talk with Kamau about what happened, but no one answered when we arrived at this address.
I thought it was abandoned, and I just wanted to buy it. There's something of a contradiction there, too. From whom exactly does he intend to buy it if nobody in fact owns or maintains it? Never mind that homes for sale are generally very clearly marked as such, except in this case where instead of come check it out signs, they had lots of get the hell out signs, signs the mayor acknowledges that he saw, or at least he acknowledges he was indeed trespassing. In fact, Kamau told police he was aware throughout the event that he was trespassing on the homeowner's property. Despite telling that reporter he thought there was no homeowner at all. It's all very confusing, so let's try to simplify. He just wanted to ask nobody about purchasing nobody's property. But even if we do somehow buy that incoherent nod of contradictory, illogical nonsense, there is still one more crucial fact to question. If this was just some mistaken trespassing incident, then why the burglary charge? Because burglary isn't just wrong place, wrong time. Burglary is unauthorized presence on a property with intent to commit a crime, usually theft. So what was Kamau trying to steal? As far as I've seen, that question is not yet answered. The city says in a statement the investigation is ongoing and further details are not available at this time. Kamau was released on $11,000 bond on Saturday afternoon. As a condition of his release, though, the judge ordered him to undergo a mental health evaluation, and he will be forced to follow the treatment plan prescribed, which of course will be the next excuse. Without much credible systemic racism to blame at this Wakanda construction site, the race card is an unavailable place. So the crazy card will have to do, but that's just proving another rule that he set out to deny too. Unequal arrest and incarceration rates are evidence of systemic racism, he complains, while committing crime in a near totally black city by design, crime that perfectly justifies his own arrest and incarceration. Yeah, well, don't blame me. I actually deserve sympathy because it turns out I'm crazy, he now says. Yeah, we know. That's our point. We've been saying that the whole time. You racial activists are crazy. When we say it, it's racism. When you say it, it's exoneration. But I guess that's the good kind of systemic inequity to correct for past injustices. I will be fair, though. I will wait for the results of the full investigation. I will wait for the facts, and I will acknowledge this defense is actually a comparably credible one. I can't be held accountable because I'm actually insane and incompetent is by far the most honest Black Lives Matter argument I have ever encountered. Thanks as always for listening and for supporting this channel. Always appreciate that thoughtful discussion down below and especially over on Gab. That is at ML Christiansen. You're always welcome to coming out and chatting my live streams. Those are linked down in the description. Looking forward to it. Goodbye.